everybody. Hi, I'm so sorry. We seem to be having a little bit of a problem with our lights right now. We're going to fix them. We'll be with you very shortly, I promise. Thanks for hanging in there. Hi, everybody. Hello. We seem to have our lights under control. So sorry about that. Thank you to our lighting crew for being on top of this for us. So, welcome to our very first Galvin Middle School fall play. Yes. We are very excited to bring this play to you. The students have been working incredibly hard on it, and they are very, very excited to bring it to you tonight. So a few housekeeping things as we go. We have some really good upcoming events that we want you to know about. Canton High School is presenting their one-act plays on December 14th. These are all student-written. They are all student-produced, directed, and performed. It's a great night. They're often hilarious. So we invite you to come see that. And then Canton High School is doing their first ever Frosty Beats and Holiday Treats on December 17th. Yes. So you can come grab some refreshments, and then you can hear a great holiday concert. It is December 17th, and it starts at 6 o'clock. We want you to know also that due to the light situation, they could flicker. There is a little bit of a strobe effect that we use at times, so if you are sensitive to that, please be aware. We would like you to sit back, relax, and enjoy our production of Trap.
This play is based on interviews on the members of our theater company after the incident at Manachap, California, October of 2023. The interviews were filmed. Tonight's performances are based off of those interviews, as well as available primary sources such as letters, newspaper articles, and security camera footage.
Should I start? We're already rolling. Okay, so I'm just gonna start with the story. When I was much younger, way before I was involved with law enforcement, I had this idea I wanted to be an artist, and this was New York. I lived in a fifth floor walk-up, tiny studio. I'd wait tables during the day and stay up late doing watercolors. I'd stay up till 3, 4, 5 in the morning, and that was how I noticed I had this neighbor. Every night at exactly 3:30, I'd hear his alarm go off, and he'd go, "Not again." Then at exactly 4:15, I'd hear his door open, and he would descend down the stairs. But I never saw him. One night, I couldn't stand it anymore. I wanted to see this guy, so at exactly 4:15, I heard him fumble with his lock, and I crept to my own front door. The door had this big peephole, about this big, that was covered with a metal plate that you had to slide away to look through. I flicked off my own light, slid the plate aside, and pressed my eye up against the peephole. And I screamed. An involuntary scream that comes out like that. A real scream. It's not like a movie scream. It was like, "Ah!" So I scream and I fall back against the bathroom door. Huge commotion as I hit the ground. Because what had happened was, when I pressed my eye up against the peephole to look through, I saw an eye. He was looking in at me. I'm on the floor and I just freeze. Finally, from the other side of the door, I hear the sound of the guy pick up his keys and start down the stairs. Now I had to see what he looked like. I pick myself up, press my eye up against the door, once again look through. There's that eye again! It's mine. It's the reflection of my own eye. I realized it just in time to see this freaked out looking postman heading down the stairs. That was the most scared I've ever been. And it was just me scaring me. The only other time I've heard that scream, what a real scream sounds like, was that night when 241 people made it all at once. I told that story to a friend once, and she said, "You're missing part of the lesson. There was more than one thing that scared you. Sure, it was mostly about being startled, but what was the first thing you did? You flicked off the light switch. People are naturally scared of the dark. The traps in the town anyone outside of Anne County's ever heard of. But people are surprised how pretty it is. Once you get off 234, it's all rolling hills and greens. Most people's job is something to do with parsley farming. People never think about it, but yes, there are parsley farms. Big ones. Not a lot of people move, but not a lot of people leave. They leave because it's peaceful and safe.
My wife had pink eye, so I was going to pick up our friend, Harlan. And when I get there, he says, "You're just in time. The kitchen sink's a disaster." I'm a contractor, not a plumber, but I said okay. After about 5 minutes, I said, "It's going to be the clog or the show. Are you okay blowing off the show?" He said, "Sure. Then we could get the Dairy Queen." I said, "Okay, but we're going to pretend we went to the show."
So I'm brand new at this job. I mean, it's my 4th day ever as a detective. I don't want to do good, but I can already tell that I'm not, and it's stupid things. Why are there 2 conference rooms with the same name? The fax machine. Do you press 9 or do you not press 9? And the people aren't, just edit this out, please. The people aren't as nice to me as I would be in their situation. And I can't even figure out where the paper goes in the fax machine.
It was a printer.
And there was this one man in particular.
I'm Detective Michael Prince.
So I couldn't tell if he didn't like new people or if he just didn't like people. So for the most part, I'm just thinking, how could things get any worse? But then this whole incident starts, and things get worse and worse and worse.
Okay. So on the night of when it happened, me and Mary Wiggle, we were just walking by the oak box, talking to the world. And then we hear this, really strange noise. I can't really, describe it. It kind of sounded like a... I was like, "What was that?" But Mary Wriggles all like, "Oh, come on, it's probably just part of the play or something."
I'm a forensic engineer. If a bridge collapses, or a dam gives way, or people get trapped in a fire, my job is to figure out what went wrong. Some of these cases are famous. The Hartford Circus Fire in 1944, it killed 168 people, while the Great White Fire in 2003 killed 100. One of the things you pay attention to most is what happens with the doors. When you look at doors that have trapped people inside, you'll find scuff marks about halfway up the door because the impulse is to kick. Sometimes you'll find dents, bigger ones, where people grabbed a fire extinguisher or a dresser, something heavy. But the incident at the Oak Box, I'd never seen anything like it. You just looked at those doors and you thought, how on earth?
So I get home, and my wife throws her arms around me, and I'm not sure what's going on, but it's clear I shouldn't say. "Oh, we were at the play, and we got dessert afterwards." So she says to look at the news, and I'm expecting Channel 2, but she turns on CNN.
I wasn't surprised that they could find me, but I was surprised that they thought to look. My name is Rick Galvin. I'm an assistant professor at the University of Minnesota. I study fear.
911, what's your emergency?
I'm not sure.
Is it life-threatening?
Yes.
Are you safe right now?
No.
I'm sending someone, more than one. There's cars already on the way. What's your name, Chica?
Angela?
Angela, I'm sending them to the Oak Box. Is that correct?
Yes.
In the play, the middle school's doing a play. Is that where you are?
Yes.
Inside the theater?
Yes.
And somebody's hurt.
Everybody.
Who's that again? Where are you in the theater?
I'm just standing on the stage.
None of it made any sense. All of a sudden, this tiny town is the site of a tragedy nobody's ever seen or heard of. 241 people fall unconscious while watching a school play the program tells us is called Trap. We've only got a few events for the timeline. We know the people are fine at 11 minutes after 7 because that's when the usher texts her older brother to pick her up after the show. At 8:10, 2 kids sitting on a ridge below the theater hear what they think is a foghorn, but they just assume it's part of the play. At 8:22, we get the 911 call. A girl named Angela Lur, who it turns out is one of the 2 people still conscious.
An 8th grade girl and a high school boy. The boy's name is Argyle, but we don't see him at first. He was confused. He'd gone backstage.
But Angela's just standing there on stage, holding the phone. When we finally get her out of there, she won't talk. She either just didn't know what happened, or she was just too scared to say it.
From notes found in Mary and Jay's office after her death.
The Oak Block was international news. I was hiking in the hills near Clovis, New Zealand when I heard about it. People have fallen unconscious. In a theater, that was key. I had conflicting thoughts. I thought, how horrible. And I thought, there it is. There's our proof.
It was that Sunday morning, 18 hours after the Oak Box incident. 236 audience members and 5 members of the cast. On the ground breathing, thank heavens. 2 mysteries. What had happened to these people? That was the main question, of course. And second were the doors. How do we make sense of those doors?
Could you tell us your name, please?
I'm Avishai Lenzer. I'm the Chief Forensic Engineer at the California Department of Infrastructure.
I'm Efren Salas. I'm a firefighter of Station 41, Manachap County.
My name is Isa Fuente. I'm a neurobiologist at the UC Berkeley.
I was the first person into the theater that night. I saw the girl on stage. I'm the one who carried her out. But before we got her out of there, she said the thing that none of us could figure out. 4 words.
Theater camera 1.
What about this girl? Sarah West. She was almost at the door. Was she leaving early?
No, look at the way she fell. She was obviously running.
And look, she's wearing earbuds. She wasn't even paying attention to the play.
Can you tell what she was listening to?
Gymnopedy number 1?
Gymnopedy number 1 by Eric Satie.
Yeah.
Something else is strange. Heish. Something wrong?
I didn't know you knew my name.
What do you notice that's strange about the positions of all these bodies?
The programs. So many people are holding them.
That's what I noticed too.
Holding them like this, like they've been trying to read them up until the very last second.
It was the speed that threw me. What could overcome that many people that fast? Maybe an electrical impulse? Or some kind of gas would overcome them, but we scoured the ventilation system, and there was nothing.
I was in the theater a lot. I just wanted to spend time with them.
I said to the fireman, any thoughts on what could have overcome these people that fast?
How do you know that it was fast?
Well, of course it was fast.
When a person loses consciousness, the body temperature drops by 2.5 degrees. But that takes a while. So we attached microthermometers to their heads. And what we found was a surprise, to say the least.
It didn't make any sense.
The first person to fall was Paul Schmidt in C813. Next was Anna Stroheim 3 rows back in D41. The first 26 people didn't lose consciousness all at the same time. They went down one by one.
I said, are you sure of this?
I'm positive. Look at this. It's the seating chart for the Oak Box. A17, E1. What do you notice?
Nothing.
Next was F42.
So front row, then left aisle, then right aisle.
Then Lila's Reggie, T17.
Back row. It started at the front, then the sides, then the back.
Exactly. It works that way up until the 26th person. Franklin James.
I know Frank.
Whatever happened to them, it started at the edges and worked its way in, like something cooking.
Theater camera 1. Continuous.
This doesn't seem like a natural phenomenon. This seems like a tax.
Agreed.
241 people falling unconscious, one by one, like they got stuck up on. But that doesn't make any sense because they could see every other person falling over. I don't see how humans could do this.
Meaning what?
I'm not sure.
Hey, can you guys shut up for a second? Did you hear that? There!
I don't hear anything.
I lived in Alaska till I was 10, so I have great hearing. Your ears are always covered. It's like a chirp. Again! Over there! The bodies are making a sound.
Which bodies?
All of them!
On Sunday morning, we had 2 mysteries. On Sunday afternoon, we had 3.
what had happened to these people, that was still the main question. Second, what were the sounds everyone was hearing? And again, the doors. Those people, well, they had 45 minutes to leave. And those doors, they were wide open.
Officials today are baffled by the events in a small Californian town. In our top story tonight, a mystery. Un invento misterioso.
On Monday morning, we put our footage out. The tips came flooding in. By noon, I'd gotten messages from 5 continents. I alone pulled investigators from other counties to check every single lead.
I got the slush pile. It was bigger than all the others combined and had more crazy than I knew was in the world.
Is it an odd number of victims or even? It makes a difference in numerology. I know where there's a wolf. I know where there's a wolf. I just read a book on hyper-intelligent space monkeys. Stop putting dead people on TV. It disturbs my daughter, and she's only 5 and was looking for cartoons. I'll help you if you help me. I know things that happened that night, valuable things. I know you have the budget. Are they moving? Are they twitching? Have you heard of the African sleeping movie? Are you sure that one of left is human? She does not look human. I hope everything goes well. If not, I'm the co-owner of a funeral home. Is there a place to send donations like food or coffee for the first responders? Can you notice who else isn't there? How's the king? Who just happened to play last year? This is the time that the waves will come in a big river ride and all mankind be swept away. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. And I was wondering if you must be the person connection of a severe allergy. Hi, I'm just feeling really stressed lately. I know this isn't the exact right hotline, but I was wondering if I could get a referral. I hope this isn't inappropriate, but I saw you on TV and I do not like the way you're handling it. Actually, you need a whole bacon. Let's start with hair. If it continues, what's being done to get the rest of the community? Now bear with you here. Ever since that night, I've had a bad case of the hiccups. If they can still hear us, I thought I'd read them a book.
That must have been one point play.
Oak Box Hotline.
Transcript of a call from Seattle, Washington to the Oak Box Hotline, October 7th, 7:32 p.m.
Hello, my name is Marion J. I'm a professor at the University of Washington. What I'm about to say will sound crazy.
Uh-huh.
Is this a secure line?
Yes, why?
Okay, I'm going to tell you something, but you have to promise not to hang up on me.
I can't promise that.
You've got a theater full of people fallen unconscious.
Yes.
By now, you've probably figured out that they were attacked one by one.
How did you know that? That wasn't in the news.
I think you're dealing with something called Faranox.
Faranox? What are Faranox?
Start with what they're not, which is human.
Now I'm gonna hang up.
Are all your victims still alive?
Yes?
They won't be if you hang up. You have up to a week before their hearts stop.
Faranox.
They look human, but they're not human.
Why haven't I heard of these things? Hello? Hello?
Sorry, I thought I heard something. You haven't heard of Faranox because they don't want you to, and because the attacks are rare. Faranox are like locusts. They attack every 13 years. The last attack was in Golspik, Scotland in 2011. There was an attack in Iceland 13 years before that. And then 13 and 13 and 13. This is a swarming behavior. The Faranox attack, mate, and die. All but one, a caretaker who watches over the larvae as they grow. What this means is that all Faranox are 13 years old, except one.
Okay, thank you. I've made notes of your call and will get back to you if necessary.
Has there been an unusually high number of students at Manichap this year?
Yes?
And at least one teacher?
The theater teacher.
Right, because the last one disappeared, ran away, or just vanished.
Yes? Why wouldn't anyone else have heard of these things?
What? Sorry, my house must have blown a fuse. I can't see a thing. There are 4 of us currently hunting Faranox. At the same time, they're hunting us. Of course, they have an advantage.
Which is what?
They know for sure we exist.
Who are the other 3 people hunting them?
There's a zoologist in Colombia named Katie Muguruza. There's an evolutionary biologist named Melissa Tengwe. And there's a professor at the University of Minnesota. He studies fear. Who's there? Who's there?
Then I heard a click.
Call ends at 7:37.
I tried to call back, but it wouldn't go through. I sat there in the call room knowing I had a choice to make. I could march into Sergeant Brock's office and say, I know this sounds crazy, but I think I might be onto something. Or I could move on to the next call. The thing was, even though it was ridiculous, I believed her. But I was afraid Brock would make fun of me, and I knew Detective Prince would. I moved on to the next call.
At first, we didn't know what we were studying. Hunting. As it turns out, the key had already been discovered by a Colombian named Kieta Muguruza. She had won the 2020 Nobel Prize for her work.
Estábamos estudiando algo que la gente había notado durante siglos.
We were studying something people had noticed for centuries.
Se llama el enigma de la viuda negra.
It's called the black widow conundrum. When an insect gets caught in the black widow's web, the spider doesn't attack right away. And instead, she slowly moves herself into the insect's view. Large, black, shiny. The insect panics, jerking web up and down. The spider lifts her forelegs to reveal a blood-red hourglass. Adrenaline flows from the moth into the web. The strands are drenched in the insect's terror, and the widow bathes in it.
Every other predator on the planet feeds on the meat of its prey. These creatures subsist on the powerful chemicals secreted by animals who are terrified. They feed on fear.
A creature that feeds on fear has a different hunting strategy than one that feeds on flesh. If fear is what sustains you, you have to create it. And so, Faranox don't hunt their prey. They trap it.
The Venus flytrap and the black widow are the 2 most famous Faranox, a plant, an insect. But then there was an evolutionary jump to a much bigger creature with much bigger prey.
From the obituary of Marion J., professor of neuroscience at the University of Washington. Professor J was well-liked and well-respected. Her sudden passing has thrown a cloud over the campus. Professor J is survived by her parents, Martin and Pandela J., along with her grandmother, Dumpa Lampkins. Interview with Kenosha R. Silberline Johnson, October 5th, 2023, 8:15 a.m. Metachat Middle School, 2nd floor counseling office.
And can you tell me why we're here today, Kenosha?
Because of yesterday.
Can you be a little bit more specific?
Because of what happened in the woods.
We're here because of what you told people happened in the woods.
It happened.
You talked to a lot of people yesterday and you told them all the same thing.
Yes.
Now, is that story something you're sure is true, or is it possible you made some of it up?
It was all true.
So that's why we're here today. Because that story of what happened in the woods, that story couldn't possibly have happened.
Kenosha came out of the womb perfect, but when she was 3 weeks old, she had a seizure. We were afraid we'd lose her. You could tell right away something had changed.
I remember Kenosha's first day at Menichap because she'd gone up to the audition board, only the string for the pencil had broken, so there was no way to put your name on it. So I said, if you want to audition, I've got a pen. And she said, my name is Kenosha R. Silbering Johnson.
So the joke very quickly went around. I don't know who said it first, that the R was to distinguish herself.
To distinguish herself from all the other Kenosha Silbering Johnsons.
The kids at her old school could be so mean. Menichap was supposed to be a fresh start.
Thinking back, that was a bad start because you always had that in your head. You had like a little bit of distance.
Kenosha had all the normal emotions. Grief, happiness, nervousness, but they weren't wired right. Like, she'd grimace to say, I love you. She spent her entire life studying people's expressions, and she got quite good at showing the right emotion. She was acting. And there was one thing she could never manage to do, and that was to lie.
She told me she couldn't go to the Halloween dance with me because her uncle was an astronaut. I wasn't actually going to ask her, but it still made me feel bad.
I'd give her lessons. I'd say, the situation is, you're 2 hours late, now I've been trying to reach you. I'm frantic and angry. Go. She'd go blank. Now, tell me your phone out of juice. And she was awful. I'd say, Kenosha, you've got to master this, or you're going to have the most boring teenage years of anybody on earth.
So I guess you could say she was a little bit alone at first.
But then, of course, Clifton.
Clifton is, as far as I can tell, perfect.
Clifton is perfect.
Basically, perfect.
And just when you think he can't get any more perfect, he does. Kenosha's sitting alone at lunch, and he plunks down and says,
Hi, I'm Clifton.
Is there anything that made you go over to her?
There was one thing, actually. The first time I saw her, her phone rang, and she didn't even look at who it was. But she made herself smile, and when she answered the phone, you could hear it in her voice.
Next thing you know, I look over. They're in the cafeteria, and she's making him laugh.
A lot of times she was hilarious, but not always on purpose. Once I was laughing so hard.
His head literally hits the table.
Once she said to me, I like you more than water.
So it's barely a week into school, and there's the new girl, standing in front of the audition board, only the string for the pencil had broken.
We talked about the idea of Kenosha being involved in theater because, well, I thought she'd be quite good. She's so good at mimicking emotions. I said, well, sweetheart, go for it.
Kenosha, that story that you told so many people, it made some of those people anxious. It scared them.
Did they cancel the play?
No.
Well, it didn't scare them enough.
Why do you have the play canceled?
Something bad is going to happen.
What's going to happen, Kenosha? Can you tell me that?
It was really early for the fall play to be happening, but we just went with it. We assumed it had something to do with the Miss Pendulum mystery.
Marsh Pendulum was my best teacher. Such a shock. 2 days before the start of school, just vanished. Nobody knows what happened.
The day of the audition, she came home and burst through the door. I said, how'd it go? She said, I nailed it.
I saw her audition. She was really good, but I told her, you never know.
The next day, she calls me from school, and she's talking very fast, and she says, I didn't get a part. And I said, well, sweetheart, sometimes that's how it goes. We don't get everything we expect. She says, but I was the best one. Even then, there could be all sorts of reasons. She says, no, something's up.
The casting was pretty strange.
We're all looking at the list like, why don't I know these names?
Almost every name on this list was new. Practically every kid who got a part was new that year.
When she'd get too excited, Kenosha would lose her skill at intimidating.
So that's when I started to hear, like, and she hung up, and I was worried something might happen.
We were at the first cast meeting, and Kenosha comes marching in, and she starts to make some sort of announcement, and then she didn't. She fell down hard, one knee. She couldn't breathe.
That was a panic attack.
She actually crawled out of the room.
When a person tells a story over and over again, it starts to gain a performance aspect to it. They subconsciously know what parts of it are getting a reaction, and the more they tell the story, the more they lean into those parts of it. It's not so much memorized as etched.
She said, "I'm going to tell you a story. Please just listen." She said, "Please just listen. Please just listen. Yesterday, I'd made it out of the school, but I'd hit my left knee."
My left knee. Right here, so I couldn't go very fast.
I was allowed to walk on the highway as long as I faced the traffic. But when I looked behind me, all of a sudden, there were these 3 people way back, and I knew I had to get away from them.
There's that strip of forest between the highway and the Walmart, and right before I jumped into it, I looked back, and they were way closer. The forest's deep, but I cut through it all the time.
The forest deep, but I cut through it all the time, so I knew I'd have the advantage. But when I looked back, I got so scared.
When I looked back, I got so scared because they turned in right after me. They wanted me in the forest, and they were fast.
All of a sudden, there's this sound, crazy loud.
The loudest thing I've ever heard.
Ever heard? Ever. I can't tell where it's coming from. I'm shaking.
I ran.
I ran faster than I could see. I look back once, and this is the thing that scares me more than anything ever. One by one, their eyes lit up.
Which I know sounds crazy.
I can hear music ahead of me. Then I remembered there's a carnival. A mini carnival for kids in the Walmart parking lot. Just some bumper carts and a tilt-a-whirl. I could hear the 7-year-old screaming as they came down the dip at the kiddie coaster.
All I needed was to get to them, but I looked back, and there weren't 3 pairs of lit up eyes.
There were 2.
Where's the third?
And I have to choose. Do I try to make it to the parking lot carnival, or do I hide in the forest? I know I'm close, but for some reason, the scariest idea is that I almost make it, that I'm just a few feet from safety, and that the third one is waiting, and he grabs me up in his arms. And I can't do it. I can't go forward.
People don't naturally look up because we've got no predators from here. So I start climbing a tree.
I start climbing a live oak.
A live oak, and about halfway up, I freeze. 2 of them get to me. Then the third one does. But they don't see me, although their eyes light up the ground.
They start to argue.
They have an argument about whose fault it was. 2 of them grab the third. He starts to scream, "Please, no!" One of them whispers something. I could hear it completely clear. He starts to cry. Then he falls over dead onto the roots of the trees. What he whispers is, "Can I tell you a secret?"
Kenosha, can you concentrate for just a little longer, please? You said that their eyes lit up. Those were the flashlights?
No, I know the difference.
Have you ever heard of anyone whose eyes lit up?
No.
Then is it possible you made some of it up? If what you said really happened, there should have been more sets of footprints, right? But they only found yours.
They must have erased them.
The police followed the tracks to a tree, just like you said, but there was no body there.
They moved him.
And what about that sound? The sound that you said that they made that seemed like it was coming from everywhere.
It was a foghorn.
There are no foghorns within 200 miles.
It was a foghorn.
Foghorn means different things depending on where you're hearing it from. In the distance, it's comforting. It tells you you're safe. But if you hear it loud, it's terrifying. You're too close, it's too late.
After the story in the woods, Kenosha started to act different. Like she wouldn't go to the South Bend where the theater was, Wouldn't go at all, even a science class. And I'd say, Kenosha, you're going to put your entire science grade in jeopardy. She will not go anywhere near that theater.
She started to talk bad about the play. She pulled me aside and said, "This play is like a malady." I had no idea what she meant.
She told me the play would be like a sick dog, only scarier. She said it would leave a greenish taste in my mouth.
It's incredible she had time to go to class. She talked with over a quarter of the school.
She pulled me aside and said, "I don't think you should go to the play. Let's play charades that night instead."
We should have a movie night.
She said, please, please, please don't go to the play. I said, Kenosha, I'm in the play.
She was so scared to go to the play, but of course she ended up going. She thought she could save those people. My brain has an anchor right here. It weighs down my thoughts and I can't see through it.
Please, I like you more than water.
She told everyone she met that the play would end in horror. I knew she couldn't lie. And yet, I still didn't believe her.
Email from Mary and Jay to Gwendolyn Haish. 3 days before Mary and Jay was found dead in her study.
Baronox are perfect replicas of people. These things pass for human everywhere. They mimic our emotions, and the only one who has ever been able to detect a Baronox was somebody who was mimicking emotions herself. It was the girl who disappeared, Kenosha.
Email from Mary and Jay to Gwendolyn Haish. 2 days before Mary and Jay's death.
Miss Haish, please respond to me. When Baronox attack, it's 99.9% fatal, like rabies. Once you're attacked, you have up to 2 weeks before your heart starts to stop. But it's going to stop. In the whole history this has been happening, there have only ever been 2 survivors.
I was still working the slush pile. There were only 2 people who knew what happened in that theater that night, and I knew if I was going to talk to one of them, I was going to need an angle. I marched into Sergeant Brock's office without knocking. Prince was already there, and I said, "Let me talk to the girl."
The girl's useless.
She said 4 words to that fireman, which doesn't make sense.
She wanted out of there.
What if what she said was 4 words? She was trying to tell him about something someone said. Let me talk to the girl. I can get those 4 words.
If she's going to interview the girl, I should get to interview the boy.
Is that a competition?
Of course it is. I've got the harder job. Yours is terrified. Mine's hostile.
I don't know why I'm here.
Because you saw what happened in there?
Give me my wallet back.
We will.
Is Fabiola going to be okay?
Fabiola's the friend you went with?
Yeah. Is she going to be okay?
We hope so.
Why won't you give me my wallet back?
We're trying to figure out what happened. We don't know where to start. So we're seeing if there's anything about you, about what you were carrying.
It's not about me.
We're looking at every angle.
I have friends in there. Focus on them.
I'll get your wallet back.
With all those bodies in the theater, it felt warm and heavy, like a greenhouse. It was 241 bodies that they put IV tubes into, with the IV bags up to here. It was the first thing you noticed at first. It was actually kind of beautiful because of how the bags glowed and how the theater was dark.
He came to me and said, "I want to take some time off."
And he said, "I'm sorry. I need all hands on deck right now."
Efren said, and he choked up, "I know these people. I love these people."
I just wanted to help out in the theater, see what those noises that the bodies were making. He said, "Nobody hears those noises except for you."
And Efren said, "That's why they need me."
Manachap Psychiatric Facility, Stabilization Room 4, October 21st, 9:30 a.m.
Angela, may I come in? I'll just stay over here. My name is Gwendolyn Haish, and I'm one of the people who's trying to figure out what happened in the theater that night.
I feel like I know you. Everyone I talk to, everyone. When I mention your name, their whole voice bubbles up. They talk about your soccer and your sense of humor. Right now, a lot of people need your help. Whatever went wrong with the oak box, it's still going on. I have this theory about what you said to the fireman. He heard 4 words, but what I think you said was 4 words. Could you tell me which of those it was? I have something I want to ask you.
Get away from me!
I'm sorry!
Get away! Help! Help me!
Theater Camera 1, October 14th, 2:45 a.m.
Anyway, Emily, I'll get back to check on you soon. Miss Mel, this is Efren Salas. I was in your 8th grade algebra class 14 years ago. I'm here to make sure that you're safe and comfortable, but that's not all. I know that you can hear me, and I think that you're making sounds. You and everybody else inside of this theater. If you make any sound, I will hear you. I have great hearing. Try it for me. The year that I was in your math class was the year that those tests got stolen off your desk before you had time to grade them. Make a noise if you remember that. For me, it's a nice memory because I was one of those 6 kids who had that period free. And instead of making me a suspect, you deputized me. I was new to the school and nervous, and I never told you how much that meant to me. To be trusted like that. That whole experience shaped who I wanted to be. It's part of why I fight fires. So I wanted to tell you. I did steal those tests. Hey! She made the noise. Nobody heard that? Just do it again. One more time. They can hear us.
There was nothing different. Not what I wore and not what I ate, not what I slept. There was nothing different. Even though there should have been. It was my birthday.
Your birthday's in a week.
No, it was Friday night. They couldn't read my handwriting at the DMV, so it's 8 days off my driver's license, which you would have known if you had asked me instead of going through my wallet.
Well,
His birthday? How did you miss that?
it's wrong on his license, so...
It's his birthday. And we're just finding out about that now.
I don't see how it could matter.
Maybe it's the candles or exposure to the birthday cake or presents he got. He is the only one in that entire theater whose birthday it was. I would investigate that, Detective.
Yes, sir.
Manichap Psychiatric Facility, Stabilization Room 4.
Thank you for seeing me again.
Answer every question. You pause more than the second I kick you out. What's a book you read in English class? To Kill a Mockingbird. In 15 seconds, tell me your life. Born and raised in Indiana, wanted to be an artist, so I moved to New York City. It didn't work out, but I met my husband, and we moved here so I could pursue law enforcement. My daughter's in 3rd grade. 6 times 8, 48. What are you most afraid of? Millipedes. What's the secret?
What secret?
Tell me the secret or I kick you out.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It was 4 words.
4 words. 4 words that someone in the theater said that night. Yes?
Yes.
What were they? You don't even have to say them. You could write them down or whisper them as soft as you want.
I'm too scared.
There's nothing here that could hurt you. Who said the words? Male or female?
Female.
Adult or student?
Adult.
What were the words?
I'll tell you next time.
Tell me the first word. Give me just the first word.
The.
The first word is the. Thank you.
Theater camera 3.
There are these scientists in Guangzhou, China that have this machine that helps coma patients. It's so huge that they have to put it in a cargo plane, and it's flying over the Pacific Ocean right now. And there's this group in Cape Town that are sending over some kind of drops that'll go in your eye and help stimulate brain function. And all over the world, people are praying for you.
Efren?
Captain Donovan!
I've got bad news. The EEG results came in. None of the bodies show brain function.
No brain function that they can measure.
It's not, yeah, there's
But you're not a
brain-
scientist. What if whatever happens to them hides the brainwaves?
That's not possible.
But this isn't possible.
They're breathing, but they're as good as dead.
Then why are they making those noises?
Nobody hears those noises but you.
I have great hearing.
Or because you want to hear them.
I hear them!
Never shout at me!
I'm sorry.
It's not good for you to be here so much.
It gives me strength.
When was the last time you slept?
I don't need sleep. They're sleeping for me.
That doesn't make any sense. I don't want to lose you too.
Okay, then fine. I'll sleep.
Menachep Psychiatric Facility. Stabilization Room 4.
Angela, it's me again. I brought something. I hear you're good. And I brought sheet music too if you feel like playing. I'll just set this over here. I would love to hear you play, but in order to do that, I'm gonna have to get close to you if that's okay with you, and I'm just going to there. You all right? Are you too achy to play something? How about this?
Gymnopedie Number 1 by Eric Sadie. It's famous for being calming, soothing, and Europe parents play it to calm their children.
Beautiful. Whenever you're ready, what's the second word?
Plays.
Plays. The plays. What's the third word? Let the music calm you down.
Not.
Good. The play's not. What's the fourth word?
Over.
The play's not over. Why does that scare you? Angela?
Theater cameras 4 and 6. October 25th, 4 p.m.
Captain Donovan, I figured it out. I know what's going on.
I'm here to escort you out.
No,
Yes, Efren.
but I figured it out.
We're worried about you.
Haven't you ever had that dream where something scary is coming towards you and you can't move and you can't speak except you make these tiny little squeaks that people on the outside of the dream can hear? That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to scream their way out of there.
Efren, you know I like you. I think you respect me.
I do.
But you are not in your right mind.
I'm fine.
I disagree. And I'm ordering you to come with me.
They need me here.
There's no they there anymore.
I can hear them.
The debate now is when to take them off life support.
No!
The doctors made this decision.
They got it wrong.
I need you to come with me,
Or else what?
or you're fired.
I don't care about that.
No department in the country will hire you.
I'll change careers.
I'm 2 seconds from dragging you out.
You're not big enough.
I brought deputies.
I'll slip between the bags.
Get out of this theater right now!
No!
Guys!
There are still people in those bodies. If you can hear me, I need you to know something. I need you to know that you are loved. This town loves you, and God loves you, and I love you. And I will not let anything happen to you. But if you can, if there's anything you can do to reach back to me, I need you to do it right now. I promise you, if you reach me back the 1%, I will reach you the other 99.
Let's go, Efren.
You hear it?
I hear it too. They're in there. We'll find a way to get them out. You were right, Efren. Well done. All day long, I kept thinking people were looking at me. Sort of knowing. Like they knew a secret. As if they were avoiding me. But in a good way. And then, Fabiola, she's my best friend. She said that we should go to the play. And she was very insistent. I didn't want him to go alone. And that one thing about Fabiola, that one thing everybody knows, is that promposal.
So I wanted to go with this guy named Tuk Tuk, and I knew his favorite song was Changes by David Bowie. So I had 12 dancers dressed up like David Bowie and lip-sync the song in the middle of the quad and then hold up signs. Everybody said it was really romantic, but I just wanted to force him to say yes.
So when she insisted on going to the play, I knew she was up to something. When the first person fell over, I thought, that's cute, they're talking about it. But then it happened again. And then it happened again. And it just kept happening. Not just to the students, parents, teachers, people I didn't know. 20 people in, I started to cry. I realized why Fabiola insisted on going here. I thought, this is a really good surprise party.
We've been over this. Something protected you.
I don't know what.
What was different about that?
Nothing.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
And the play. You can't remember anything other than those 4 words. The play's not over.
I would tell you it's all blank.
Angela, the people in the theater are running out of time. I need a favor.
What?
When you get out of here tomorrow, I want you to come to the theater with me.
No.
I'll be right there with you.
I can't.
My guess is, the second you walk in there, you're gonna remember what happened. Let's go over the performance night one more time.
It was a typical Friday. English, social studies, math, science, PE, Toastmasters.
Which you said was after school, at the Y.
Yeah.
Are you a good speaker?
No, that's why I'm in Toastmasters. I can't even remember my speech because my head gets a light and my chest tightens up. Oh.
What?
It was my day to speak. My dad's a doctor. He gave me a pill. Indral. It just stops the adrenaline from taking over so I can breathe normal.
You took a pill that blocks adrenaline.
No, I took 3.
Fear isn't rational. Scary movies make us wince, even though we know there's no way anything can come out of the screen and hurt us. If anything, theater should be scary.
Unsent email from Mary and Jay, the afternoon of her death.
The attack is so simple. The Faranock says, "Can I tell you a secret?" And the victim says, "Yes." And that's the mistake, because they think of all the scary things that the secret could be. The Faranock whispers something. A tiny extension of one of their incisors punctures the ear, drains every bit of adrenaline from the victim's body, and they fall unconscious. These things scare me. I study them, but I study them at afar. They're right at the border between the monsters we pretend scare us and the people who actually do.
Theater camera, everything but 2. Final recording.
You got this.
Hello? Who's there?
It's us, Detective H, and you remember Angela. You carried her out of here.
Yes, hello. Are you guys alright?
No.
Being here takes time getting used to.
I know almost every face.
You can help them. If you can remember what happened that night, that could make the difference.
Are they still alive?
We're giving them water, nutrients, but that's still not going to be enough.
Could you leave us alone for just a bit?
Okay, I'll be in the back with the others if you need me.
Do you remember where you were sitting?
Right where I am now.
I want you to recall the days leading up to the play. There were posters all over the school.
Yeah. At first they said, don't tell the secret. Then they switched and said, can I tell you a secret?
Good. Then on the last day, the posters changed again. They added the title of the play. Do you remember that?
No.
You don't know the title of the play.
I don't.
It might help to get on stage.
No.
I'll be right there with you. You made a phone call from up here. Do you remember it?
I don't.
What's the last thing you remember about that night?
Running from the parking lot. I was late because of Toastmasters, but it turns out I didn't need to worry. There was some kind of electrical problem that kept us all in the lobby.
Angela, come over here with me. I promise I won't let anything happen to you. This is where they found you. Take a deep breath, lower your head, and close your eyes. On the count of 3, I want you to lift your head and open your eyes. 1, 2, 3.
911, what's your emergency?
I'm not sure.
Is it life-threatening?
Yes.
Are you safe right now?
No.
I'm sending someone, more than one. There's cars already on the way. What's your name, Chica?
Angela.
Angela, I'm sending them to the Oak Box. Is that right?
Yes.
And the play, the middle school's doing a play. Is that where you are?
Yes.
Inside the theater?
Yes.
And somebody's hurt?
Everybody.
Who's that again? Where are you in the theater?
I'm just standing on the stage.
Angela, what are you thinking about?
The end. Calling for help, knowing it was too late.
I want you to look at something. This is a program from that night. There's the title of the play.
Trap.
What's wrong?
It was right in front of us.
What was?
It should have been obvious. The play was a trap. It was even called Trap. The play was in sections. 1, what is your emergency? 2, what held them? What held us? Something had happened at a school play, in a theater. Everyone in the audience had fallen over unconscious.
But what happened in the play? What was the story about?
The same thing.
In the play you were watching, people had fallen over unconscious in a theater.
Yes, it was mostly interviews, like a documentary. Everyone was unconscious except for one boy and one girl.
And in the story, what happened to them?
There were these creatures, Faranox. They looked human, but they weren't. They attacked the audience one by one and then all at once.
That's what happened in the play. But what happened in real life to the people you were with?
The same thing.
No. What made the audience you were with fall unconscious?
Those creatures. They look human, but they're like black widows. They feed on fear.
Those were things in a play. They're not real.
Yes, they are.
I promise you, they're not.
They confuse people. The play was about all the things that were about to happen to us, so when it started, we couldn't tell what was real and what wasn't.
Creatures who feed on fear and put on plays. Ridiculous.
But it's true. Sounding like they're ridiculous is how they hide.
Argyle, is Detective Prince with you?
No.
I asked him to come. I knew you wouldn't believe me.
Even if these creatures were real, they're not here now. You alright?
Get away from me!
What's wrong?
Who's here? Who's in the theater?
I think we're okay. Should we leave?
No, I just got a little freaked out.
This place can do that. Do you guys want me to stay?
Please, for a little bit.
Tell me more about these creatures.
In the final section of the play, which is also called Trap, the Faranox started to attack.
Attack the audience?
Yes.
How did they do that?
The girl in the play, she walks down into the audience and the boy is narrating what she was doing. She stops in front of a girl. She leans down and whispers something.
Can I tell you a secret?
The girl fell over, out of her chair, but the audience didn't think anything of it because she was listed in the program as Fallen Girl. Then she moved a few seats next and did the same thing. Can I tell you the secret? When the girl nodded, she leaned down and...
Can I tell you a secret? By the time she got to me, I was scared.
She whispered to me and nothing happened.
You'd taken the Inderall.
Yeah,
How many people had fallen over at this point?
a lot.
Why wouldn't somebody have just left?
We thought it was just a play.
Can I tell you a secret?
Who is that?
My name is Kenosha R. Silberling Johnson. Everybody, listen up. In a calm and orderly manner, I need you all to leave the theater. You must leave the theater for your own safety. There's a small child trapped in a car in the parking lot, and you have to make sure he's not in your car.
Worst liar in the world.
Please leave.
They think you're part of the play.
You're the one playing me. Yes, you're a bad actor. You're human, and you are. Stay away from them.
They think you're part of the play.
Now will you leave?
They think you're part of the play because you are part of the play.
No, I'm not.
Then why are you in the playbook?
I'm not.
Right here. It says real Kenosha.
This is a trick.
There's a part in the play where you get chased in the woods.
You made that part up in case I wouldn't be back for the attack.
That's part of the script.
There is no script.
Right here. And you're in it.
That's not real. This is a trap.
It's a middle school play.
The perfect trap. Everybody has to come and nobody's allowed to leave. They feed on your anxiety. You've only lost a few so far, but that'll change fast. The lights will go down, you'll hear a crazy loud noise, and their eyes will light up as they start to feed.
There's nothing you can do to get them out of their chairs.
I don't have to get them out of their chairs. I just have to get rid of you.
Good luck.
I've been hiding in this theater the whole time, preparing a surprise.
What's the surprise?
If I told you, it wouldn't be a surprise. Everyone, they're feeding on your anxiety. But this boy survived because he was happy. So smile. Relax yourself from the outside in. Take a huge breath. Do it. Imagine it's your birthday. What's wrong with you?
Nothing.
Then why are you wilting?
Nothing. We're acting. I want to tell you a secret.
No!
I can wake up the rest of the audience.
How?
I can do it.
I don't believe you.
Your only chance at saving them is to believe me. Can I tell you a secret?
Stop smiling. Go ahead.
Can I tell you a secret? Secret. Can I tell you a secret?
Can I tell you a secret? I took 4 Inderall. Surprise!
What's that in your hands?
A remote.
Haha, lost your remote. Everyone here still thinks you're part of the play.
Everyone but one. Mom! Now!
That was the sound I heard that night. The sound of all those people being freed. The best scream you could ever imagine.
They came to an end.
My name's Angela Lure, and I lived through the Menichap Faranock attack.
My name's Clifton Barnes. I survived being in the play.
I'm Argyle Herring. It wasn't a surprise party, but I'm sure glad I thought it was.
Kenosha saved my life. My whole family was in the theater that night. Thank you, Kenosha. Thank you.
We love you, Kenosha!
people who'd been unconscious had no memory of what had happened. But it changed them. I published 3 papers.
I got a medal.
I got a promotion.
I got a parade.
I got Kenosha.
For a couple of weeks last year, the town of Manachap, California became famous. But the fame went away quickly. See, what happened seemed impossible. Psychologists wrote it off as a form of mass hysteria. People getting scared in a place that already scared them.
I lived through it, and even I'm not sure. Did it really happen? Or was it like that eye in the peephole? The most scared I've ever been. And it was just me scaring me.
The thing about a trap, it needs to confuse the prey.
Why would a play have a false ending?
What's real? What's not?
Okay, we've had a problem with the lights, as you can tell. We are going to work on them, and we'll get this back up and running soon.
The prey is most vulnerable when it thinks it's escaped.
The spider's not home.
The web almost breaks.
I'm almost out of the woods.
It was just me scaring me.
You say to an audience, "You're gonna die!" And they'll stay in their seats because they don't want to miss it.
All Faranox are 13 years old.
Except one.
People are naturally scared of the dark.
Can I tell you a secret? Can I tell you a secret?
In the distance, a foghorn tells you you're safe. But if you hear it loud, you're too close.
Can I tell you a secret?
It's too late.